Alright, y'all. So, picking up where we left off on Friday, I know there's some confusion with some things, so I just want to clarify something, okay? It's something I forgot to say in the lesson, but here it is. So, when we're completing the square, okay, once again, we group and add constants, okay? Then we add in the magic number. Alright, that's our second step. And the magic number is just this 2 right here, over 2 squared, okay? And we simplify and factor, okay? The factoring part is something that's been confusing. It's something that's been difficult. But whenever we factor, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make sure the numbers we used it's pretty formulaic, okay? And so if you look here, I have x squared plus 2x plus 1, okay? Because we made this one up ourselves, we used a number that's going to work for us, okay? So we use 2 over 2, which simplifies down to 1. That's what we put inside our parentheses when we factor. So we have x, so we take this number and bring it down, and we take the 1 and bring it down. And that's always going to be the case. So it's always going to be x plus 1 squared. Okay? If we go down to the next one, we have this negative 10 x squared minus 10x, and we added in the negative 10 over 2 squared. Okay? We simplified it, which we didn't really need to. If we just left this as negative 10 over 2, negative 10 over 2 is negative 5, right? So this negative 10 over 2 is the number that comes down to be in our factored form. Okay, this x is the number that comes down. Do you see that? So whenever we're completing the square, the number that's in our final squared is the number that we made up, is the magic number that we plugged in. Okay, so from the worksheet from Friday, it's going to be our C value. Okay? Look at it one more time. X squared plus 8x minus 3. Okay, we moved 3 over because that's the first section. We group, then we add in the magic number, then we simplify and factor. But the magic number here is 8 over 2 squared. But then this 8 over 2 is 4. 8 divided by 2 is 4. That's where our 4 came from. And then our x just comes from the other side. So it's always going to be x plus whatever our magic number is. Okay? And so we can look at that even when we get things that aren't whole numbers. Okay? So if I gave you a problem that was like x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Okay? So our first step is always going to be group things and move the constant to the other side. Okay? When I say group, I mean get everything on the same side, all the x values on the same side, and then move the constant to the other side. So we're going to subtract 12 from both sides. We get x squared minus 7x plus, I'm going to leave a space here, equals negative 12. Okay, so here's where we add in our magic number. Our magic number, we're just going to take this number right here. It's negative 7. So negative 7 divided by 2. Okay. That's 7 a little bit clearer for y'all. Sorry. Negative 7 divided by 2 and squared. Alright, if we do it on the left, we got to do it on the right. Okay? So then when we factor our parentheses, we know we're going to have a squared term. Okay? We just bring our x down. Then we bring our minus 7 over 2 down. That's where we get these numbers from. 7 over 2 right here is the same as that 7 over 2. And that's how we factor every time. And so you don't have to worry about doing anything complex. Like I could have squared this. I could have seen 7 over 2 is 3.5, squared it, gone through all that process. But I just know it's going to be 7.5 when I bring it back here. 7 divided by 2, I mean. 7 halves. Okay, this equals... yeah, so whenever it equals, we're going to just combine these two terms. So when we combine these two terms on the left, we still have the negative 12. 7 over 2 is 3.5. Okay. 3.5 squared is 12.25. Alright. So I'm just simplifying this. 7 over 2 is 3.5. Squared is 12.25. So it's negative 12 plus 12.25. Okay, so our final answer is 0.25. And then now we're done. Okay, so just pointing out where we're getting this from. This 7 over 2 is from our equation, is from our magic number. And so we get to choose it, we get to make it up, and it's going to work out for us every time. All right, next thing we want to look at. We have the standard form of the equation of our circle, okay? Remember, our standard form is when we have x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, okay? What we're going to do is we want to convert the standard form of the equation. Not convert it into. We have another form, okay? So this is standard. We're going to be looking at general form. Basically what general form is general form is these numbers, okay, it's this problem right here, multiplied out. So you take your x minus h squared, and you actually square it. You take your y minus k squared, you actually square it, and you take your r squared and move it over. Okay? How we're going to write this, it's going to be ax squared, where a is just a variable, plus by squared, where b is just a variable, plus cx, where c is just a number, a variable. I mean, c is just a constant, a coefficient, plus dy plus e. Okay? And so all these numbers here is going to be equal to 0. Every a, b, c, d, and e are just numbers, and x squared, x, and y are just our variables that we get when we multiply this out. Okay? What we're going to be doing with these is we're going to be taking these general forms and converting them into the standard form of the equation. Okay? To do that, we're going to have to be completing the square stuff. So, go and get out that worksheet, and we're going to start looking at number 1. So, I'm just having this here. Can we see both at once? Is that possible? It's not. Make sure you're looking at your notes and remembering these steps. Okay? These steps are super important in this. So, we're given a problem. If you notice, we have general form. This is our general form right here. We're going to try to convert it into standard form. Okay? So that means we're going to have to get it where it's like x minus h squared plus y minus k squared, etc. So the first step is group and move the constants. So I'm going to get the x's next to each other. I'm going to get the y's next to each other. I'm going to move the constants to the other side. Okay? So minus 51 from both sides. And I'm going to rewrite it. So I'm going to have x squared. Then I'm going to take this 12x and put it next to the x squared. Then I'm going to leave a space for our magic number. Okay? Then we're going to do y squared plus 16y. Then I'm going to do another space equals negative 51. Alright? Next thing is we're going to add in our magic number. This is the completing the square part. And because we have two variables, we're going to have to do it for both our variables. We're going to have to do this for both our x and our y terms. See if zooming in helps at all here. So, my x term is 12x. So, the magic number is going to be 12 over 2 squared. If I do it to the left, I have to do it to the right. We're running out of room. I'll figure that out in a little bit. Okay? Now I'm going to do it to the y value as well. So the magic number is going to be 16 over 2 squared. If I do it to the left, I've got to do it to the right. Okay? And then from there, it's just about factoring and simplifying. Okay? So, factoring this x squared plus 12x plus 12 over 2 squared. So open parentheses, we're going to take our x down, plus we're going to take our 12 over 2 down, and square it. Do the same thing for y. We're going to take our y down, plus we're going to take our 16 over 2 down, and square it. Okay? This equals negative 51. 12 over 2 is the same thing as 6. 6 squared. 16 over 2 is the same as 8 squared. So it's negative 51 plus 36 plus 64. Alright, so you see where all these numbers are coming from? It's negative 51 is coming down like that, 6 coming down like that, 8's coming down like that. From here, we're really close to being in our standard form that we know and love, that we are used to and we know how to work with. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just simplify the rest of the equation. So we have x plus 6 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals, so having here we have a negative 51 plus 36 plus 64 gives us 49. And there's our standard form of the equation. Look at the rest of the problem. It asks for the center and the radius. Center is going to be negative 6, negative 8. We know how to do that from before. And our radius is going to be 7. And that's all we're doing with this. Okay, so we're just completing the square and then simplifying. So what we're going to do is we're going to go walk through number 3 together, and then we can look at walk through number 3 together, and then we can do the rest of them on our own, and I'll show the answers. So yeah, number 3, first step, always is to group and to move things to the other side. Okay, so x squared, we'll remove the 12x over next to it, plus 12x plus our space plus y squared minus 4y this time plus a space, and then we're going to move this 24 to the other side by plus 24 to both sides. Okay, so equals 24. Then we're going to add our magic number. So our magic numbers, coefficient is 12, so it's going to be 12 over 2 squared. Coefficient is negative 4 over 2 squared. Alright, and if we do it to the left hand side, we got to do the right hand side. So we're also got to add in the 12 over 2 squared and the negative 4 over 2 squared. Be super careful with this negative 4, because when you square a negative, remember it becomes a positive. And if you just plug it in your calculator, you might run into some problems with parentheses. Okay? So, then we factor. Remember when we're factoring, we just have our brackets. Okay, we're bringing our x down, bringing our 12 over 2 down, and squaring it. We're doing the same thing for y. We're bringing our y down. Then we're bringing a negative 4 over 2. Okay, so it's going to be a negative 4 over 2, because that negative over there is inside the parentheses, so we're bringing it down. Do y'all see that? This negative 4 over 2 is coming down. Equals 24. 12 over 2 is 6 squared, which is 36. Negative 4 over 2 is negative 2 squared, so that's another 4. We keep going. We simplify this 12 over 2, so we have x plus 6 squared. It's y minus 2 squared equals 24 plus 36 plus 4 is just going to be a nice, clean 64. So that's our standard form of our equation. When we simplify this, center and radius. Remember our center, we're just getting from here and here. So negative 6 and a 2. And our radius is the square root of that. So in this case it's going to be 8. Negative 6, 2, 8 squared. Yeah. Hopefully this feels okay. I'm going to go ahead and show you the answers to them. And if you have any questions about how to do them, let me know. and we can go through them in person in class. But yeah, that's all I have for you today. Actually do the rest of these. Try it. Pause the video now. Try them. Try one, check it. Try one, check it. However you want to go through. But make sure you get this practice. This practice is important. So, here's the answer key. This is the answer for number 2. Number 4. Try the ones on the back. We got 5 and 6, and 7 and 8, all at once. Here, I'll put them where you can see them. So there's 5. There's 6. There's 7. 8. 9. And 10. Yeah, next step is going to be to work on some Delta Math things and to just generally review things we might have missed over the past few days. And then, yeah, hopefully you feel pretty good about this stuff. See you in class.